I think this is part 6 of dating in Atlanta. When I first started this, series, I was dating 3 guys. Guy 1 has always been my fave, always. I've known him off and on for years. He's also the most persistent and consistent and always wants to spend time with me, like all the time. Guy number 2 recently told me he was married, so I won't be seeing him anymore. Guy number 3 is, I'm physically attracted to him as well. He's sweet. He is an entrepreneur and he kind of travels a lot, so he's busy, so we don't spend a hell of a lot of time together, but I'm definitely attracted to him as well. So me and guy number 1 probably date at the minimum twice a week. So I'm seeing him like twice a week. Our last date was the movies. We went to a late night movie. We had a really good time. The last 2 times I've seen him, I've noticed he's a heavy drinker. And I noticed that there were like beer bottles in the front seat of his car and in the back seat of his car open. So I didn't say anything the first time. The second time, I just kind of stared like, why? Like, what? You know what I mean? Like, that's just strange to me. You know, guy number 1 is 10 years older than me. So he's over 50, right? He's working on 60. And, yeah, I just couldn't picture somebody his age, like, really drinking. Like, you drink and drive, like you get in your car and you drink and drive or whatever. Like, that was strange. So anyway, so I didn't say anything. The next day we had like a really long, intimate conversation, basically talking about the fact that I'll be moving. And he's basically saying like, I'm definitely 10 toes down. And I feel like we're building. So by the time you move, we'll be super close and we'll be able to manage a long distance relationship. So I'm like, cool. Like, whatever. But I have some concerns. And he's like, what are your concerns? I'm like, every time I get in your car, you have like open beer bottles and like stuff like that in the back seat, like open beer bottles in the back seat, open beer bottles in the front seat. It makes me think that you drink and drive. He's like, I don't drink and drive. I'm like, well, answer me this. How many beers you drink a week? And he's like, 20. I'm like, so what do you think an alcoholic is? And he's like, I know I probably drink as much, but not as much as some. And I'm like, but I'm not talking about some. Like, what do you think alcoholic is? And he's like, I know I need to make changes, but all that takes time and I'll have to do it when I'm ready. And I'm like, okay. And I just basically broke it down to him. Like, in my family, alcoholism is a thing. Drug abuse is a thing. So I have no tolerance for it. And for me to speak about us being together in long term, in longevity, I am not willing to deal with somebody who drinks as heavy as you. I have seen drinking destroy people. I've seen it destroy families. And I've seen it destroy my family. And I'm not willing to deal with that. When you are about to be in a relationship, or when you're in a relationship, you guys take on each other's, like each other's issues, right? So like if you're somebody with bad credit and we get involved, now I have to help you deal with your credit, or I would like to help you be better and help you betterly deal with your credit, right? So I'm telling him like mine is debt. Like I have like $60,000 in debt I want to pay off, which is no big deal. I can do that in half a year, but I'm open with him about it because I want him to know like these are things that I have to tackle. You know what I mean? This is why I'm really big on finding a second job, right? So I'm telling him like I'm not willing to tackle alcoholism with you. Like, that's not something I want to do, right? So when I think about longevity, you're not a person that I want to be in a long-term relationship with, knowing that you have a drinking problem. So he's like, I hear you, blah, blah, blah. We get off the phone. We talk the next day, and he's having, like, a get-together at his house, and he's like, I'm going to start grilling around 2 o'clock. What time will you be by? I'm like, I'm not coming by. Like, I'm going to stay home today. He's like, okay, well, if you're not coming, I'm not grilling today. I'll grill tomorrow when you come. And that way, he's like, you're the life of the party, so it wouldn't even be fun if you're not here. And I'm like, oh, I thought I was clear last night. Like, we cannot move forward. Like, my next relationship will be my last, and I don't want to deal with somebody who's a heavy drinker. And I don't think we can move forward. I'm not willing to work through these issues with you as far as you being a drinker. And there is no tomorrow. Like, I won't be coming by tomorrow. I won't be coming by today. Like, we are not dating any further, So he gives me this excuse and tells me this is a misunderstanding, that the bottles I seen in his car were trash, and that he brought them out of the house to take them to the trash. So I must look slow because I'm like, if you're at home, right, why would you bring beer bottles half full, empty, whatever, half full, out of the house to the car to trash them? I would think you would just put them in the trash at home. Where were you going with the beer bottles? And then that made me even more mad because I'm like, so now you're trying to play, because now you're not being willing. You're not willing to admit that you were in the car drinking, and you're not even willing to admit it, which lets me know that you know there's a problem with it because you're not comfortable admitting the fact that that's what you were doing. You were drinking in the car while you're driving, and that's fine if that's how you want to live your life. But when I think of a partner, that's not how I want to live my life. And he's like, no, I swear it's misunderstanding. I brought them out of the house to put them in the trash, and I forgot. And I'm like, huh? So anyway, that is the end of me and guy number one. I just want to be 100% transparent and open when I'm dealing with people about what my expectations are. I feel like everybody has issues, but those are ones that I'm not willing to deal with, right? My Uncle Jack was like the man, like he was him. And I saw drugs tear him to pieces. Like he went from somebody I admired to somebody I continuously and constantly was praying for God to bring him up out of the situation he was in, because I seen him go from being like at the top of his game to like bottom of the barrel. I seen him go from going to work, getting high in the closet, and being in the closet 2 days high as hell. You know, my dad is another one. He's an alcoholic. He's probably a halfway decent person when he's not drinking. He drinks all the time. So when he drinks, he's a nasty individual. You know what I mean? So I've seen alcoholism and drugs take people from good people to bad people. And that's just not a journey I'm willing to go on, honestly, with guy number one. I'm praying for him. I want what's best for him, but yeah, I won't be helping him through that. He told me that he drinks 20 beers a week, and he feel like 20 beers a week is not a lot compared to other people. And I was like, well, when do we start comparing what we do to other people? Like I don't compare myself to people, you know what I mean? Not when it comes to like habits and stuff like that. Whether you drink 20 beers a week or 40, right? All of it's unacceptable and it's not okay. And he agreed, but he was like, but it could be worse. But to me, that means he lacks accountability. So yeah, that's the tea on guy number one. I'll update you guys soon on guy number three. Let's date in Atlanta.